You are welcome to this Python program. Before I delve into this discussion, into the training, the first module, let me quickly introduce myself. Sogunle Idris by name, an IT practitioner of over a decade. I'm a full stack web developer, a solution architect at AWS, and a DevOps engineer. I shall be putting us through for 30 modules on Python. Our agenda for today, as regards module 1, is to look at what is Python, what is the use of programming language, what are the levels of Python or the level of programming language. As a matter of fact, this one is historical. Who is the father of Python? What are the prerequisites to learn Python? I don't have any IT background. I'm a lawyer, I'm an accountant, I'm a teacher. I do not pass through any IT training in my life. Can I cope with this program? This is a very big question. What are the features of Python? How to install Python on your local machine? What is Python IDLE? And at the end of this module, believe me that you should be able to run your first program using Python. Alright, let's dive in to this day's agenda. Module 1. What is Python? Python is a very simple and easy programming language. As a matter of fact, if somebody asks you what is Python, just say Python is a programming language. Anybody can learn Python, even if you have no prior programming language. Python belongs to a high-level language like other high-level languages like Java and others. Python is a developer-friendly. Developers love using Python to build their application, their mobile application or web application. Python is a free-flow language. Even if you put a space, it doesn't count it, unlike other programming languages that are very, very sensitive. Python is a programming language, as I have said earlier, just like other programming languages, Java, JavaScript, C, C++, Go. This one is by Google, and C#. Python can be used to develop applications such as calculator, ticket booking, web application. Now, to answer the second question on what the use of programming language, of course, I've explained that to you. Programming language are used to build applications, simple as ABC. What are the levels of programming language? Of the programming language we have around, there are about 3 levels of programming language. You have high-level language, low-level language, medium-level language. But however, Python belongs to a high-level language because it's a developer-friendly. Developer of app, developer of web application love Python because of its feature that we're going to see shortly. Of course, this one is historical. Who is the father of Python? Python was developed in 1989 by Godot van Rossum. That is just historical. Let's dive more into the features of Python. What are the features of Python? Python has so many features that make it friendly. But I just mentioned about 10 of them. For more research on your own part, it may be more than that. Python is simple and easy to know. It's a very easy language to learn. It has very simple syntax and hence easy to learn and easy to understand. The syntax are not complex, the syntax are friendly. You can write the syntax on your own because it is very simple, so you can learn it. Python is an open source technology. Just like other open source technology, you are not paying anything for you to download and make use of Python environment. Python belongs to a high-level language. I've mentioned it earlier. Out of all the 3 languages we have for programming, Python belongs to high-level language. And that makes it flexible and simple, unlike other programming languages that are very complex and very thick to use for an average program learner. Python is platform independent. What do we mean by platform independent? It means that the scripting is very easy and the automation is very simple as well. Of course, Python are dynamically typed. What is the meaning of dynamically typed? You can create variables. You don't need to mention the data type. Python automatically understands what you are talking about. When you declare a variable, Python understands that variable. Is that variable a string variable? Is that variable a number? Is that variable date? Python automatically understands when you declare a variable what is the data type the variable belongs to. Python is object and procedure oriented. More of us that are very good in SQL, you know what they call PL, procedural language. Python is very, very useful because it's object and procedural oriented. Python has extensive library and frameworks. What do you mean by extensive library? They have a lot of terms, a lot of framework in Python. By the time you start mentioning some of these frameworks, some of these library, you discover that there are so plenty that you can't memorize them. But however, in order not to scare you, don't bother yourself about terms and jargons, varieties of codes in Python. As time goes by, when you practice very well and your hands is firm, you should be able to write and understand all these extensive library and framework in Python. Python has some predefined functions. I'm going to explain to you what we mean by predefined functions. It has a lot of predefined functions, and this makes it developer friendly. You understand what is function. If you stay to the end of this program, you understand what we mean by predefined functions, and you understand why predefined functions are very useful when you are developing your application. Versatility, flexibility, and extensibility. These are part of the features of Python. Very versatile in using Python. Python is very flexible, very extensive when you are using Python. Of course, finally, Python is a beginner friendly. My friend, I know some of us are here that want to learn Python, that do not have any orientation, do not have any background. Don't worry, Python is your friend. Python is your friend. You will love it. And you will agree with me that in a couple of some days, you know that Python is very, very friendly, very, very simple to understand. What are those things you can do with Python? I've learned Python. What can I do with this? Am I learning Python for fun? No. Data analysis and machine learning. If you want to go into data analysis, if you want to go into machine learning, Python is very, very useful for you. So when you learn Python, the basis of Python, you should be able to be part of the team that analyze data. Machine language, these are trendy now. But you can do all of these things with Python. Web development, app development. If you learn Python very well, you easily understand web development. For those of us who be interested after this training in learning web development, either you want to be a full stack web developer, this is a prerequisite for you. So once you know this, I want to assure you that learning full stack will be very, very easier for you. What are you also doing with learning Python? Automation and scripting. Things are automated now. You can automate your process one after the other. You script in Python what you need based on the business logic. When somebody gives you his business logic, a company employer, and they give you their business logic, with Python you can script out and find solution based on the customer wants. Also, if you are good in Python, you will be able to do software testing and software prototyping. And of course, our daily, everyday transaction, everyday life, if you know Python very well, it makes life more easier. The next question is, of all the programming language that we have around, which one of them is most popularly demanded? You can Google it and give me your answer. You can Google it together and find out which of the programming language is trending. We have Java, we have C++, we have PHP. But I want to tell you, you can Google it as I posted in the platform. Python is ranked now as a 2022 as the most popularly demanded programming language. So having understood this, having learned all this, how do we install Python? Python installation. There is nothing we can do until we're able to install Python in our local machine. Where do I get? I told you that an open source, you can download Python easily. It doesn't cost you anything. Just go to python.org, python.org. Then you download for Windows version. Don't download for Mac version. Don't download for Linux version. Download for Windows version. You may see Python 3.11.0. The latest one is Python 3.11.4. Whichever one you download is still much okay with this program. So when you download this, I'm going to show you shortly how to download. Just go to your Google and type python.org. From python.org, click on download, and of course you download, and the file will come in Excel file. Run your exit file. When you run your exit file, Python will automatically install in your system. How do you know after your installation that Python has actually downloaded in your system? It's very simple. All you need to do is just come to your search A and type your command from CMD. Click on the CMD and type Python. If Python is there, then your system will automatically identify that Python, this is Python. Then click on enter. See, because I've installed Python in my local machine, and you can see that it gives me the answer instantly. So this is Python. I'm going to go learning Python. Now, the next thing we are going to learn, of course, is what I call IDLE. What do you mean by IDLE? Once you install your Python, automatically IDLE comes with it. What is IDLE means? And how do we use IDLE? IDLE means Integrated Development Learning Environment. I'm going to show you shortly what is IDLE. Come to your search and click on IDLE. This is IDLE. And double click on it to open the real environment. It's not much different. It works the same way our prompts work. If you are working with on your prompt environment to write your snippets, you can also comment. This is IDLE, where you can write your snippets. You can write your Python code and run it here as well. So as time goes on, or as time goes by, you will determine by yourself which one you are comfortable with. Are you using prompts to write your snippets and run your programming, or you are using IDLE? As a matter of fact, the recommended environment to use is IDLE. And we'll also be talking about IDLE and REPL. I've told you that IDLE means Integrated Development Learning Environment, a learning environment which is provided by Python to learn Python. Programming language, each of them have their own environment. A comfortable environment to learn Python is using IDLE to write your snippets, very small code, and run it. IDLE is also called REPL. What is REPL means? These are acronyms that means you can use that environment to read your snippets, your code, and evaluate your Python code. You can print your Python code, and you can loop your Python code. In other words, REPL means reading, evaluating, printing, and loop. So these are the background intro to today's module. As I've said earlier, let us run our first Python program. Open your IDLE and let's run our first Python program. Our first Python program, we want to run it to print hello world and to print your name. Now let's go. I'll prepare a sheet for you Just copy it, go to your IDLE, then paste there, so you can see print hello world. Now let's run it and see the result. Wow, fantastic. Can you see hello world? You can also write your snippets and another program. For example, print, open your brackets, then declare your what you want Python to print for you or to save for you. But don't forget, you have to double quote or use single quote before you can use print. Print is a function. I'm still coming to that. My name is Idris. So yeah, Python, tell the world that my name is Idris. You can see my snippets. When you press enter, you can see my name is Idris. We have successfully run our first Python program as I've promised. Alright, now we need to learn what is function. Print is a function in Python language. We are going to learn so many functions, but the first of it that you are conversant and most used function in Python is print. How do we identify print? How do we identify functions? Rather, function will be identified by having in front of it inverted comma and inverted close. Anywhere you see in Python program where something is written and in front of it you have bracket open bracket close, it tells you that that particular thing is a function. So once you provide the character you want to print, once you provide the data type you want to print, Python will print it for you. Just ensure that the data is input with double quotes and or single quotes at the beginning and at the end. Now you can close our environment. You can close our environment with another function, and that function is called exit. So let's go back to our IDLE and close this snippets. So you just write what? Exit, bracket open, bracket close. So when you press enter, you discover that your program is still running. Do you want to kill it? That is, you want to end the program? Please click OK, and you see that you can also run your program here on the prompts. Let me run a program here. Print, open, inverted comma, Idris, comma, then close it. Let's run this. Enter. Yes, perfect. As well, if you are comfortable with the environment, you can use this environment to run your program. Of course, how do we close this application again? Is another function, exit. Exit. Then click on enter. That is it. You are out of the Python. You are in a normal prompt now. Well, guys, I believe at the end of today's introduction and module 1, you should be able to answer my question: is Python easy or not? Of course, Python is very, very easy. Here we are going to stop for today. We'll continue next class. Thank you for coming and thank you for listening. God bless.